With only a few more days until the second half of Season 3 of Star Wars Rebels kicks off, we got a mid-season trailer. So like I do with these things, let's go through, break it down, and see what we can expect from the remaining episodes. A pretty big deal is made out of the rebellion becoming more and more unified. Thanks to Rogue One, we knew the crew of the Ghost would be heading this direction, but it looks like they'll be officially a part of the Rebel Alliance by the end of the season. We see Bail Organa, Jan Dodonna, and Mon Mothma all in the flesh. And there are some new faces with Mon on the Ghost. The Rebel fleet itself is looking more and more like the fleet we saw at the Battle of Scarif. We've got transports, hammerheads, Nebulon frigates, Mon Calamari ships, and more. The Y-Wing stolen in the season premiere see some action, and Wedge looks like he's back. He seems to be wearing an A-Wing flight suit, which lines up with what he said about his early rebellion days in the book Aftermath. Maybe we'll get to see the exact mission he talks about in the book, where he crashes his A-Wing and breaks his leg. But the Empire isn't just sitting idly by, letting the rebels gather power. The Empire looks like they've got some new weapons of their own. Of course, we all know the TIE Defender from the first half of the season, but man is it cool to see it actually flying around, and in multiple scenes. Those Imperial sentry droids are back, but they've got a new logo on their shoulders. It looks like Thrawn is just using them to train against. But there's a new battle droid seen in a few shots. The sentry droids were modeled after the Phase 2 and 3 Dark Troopers from Legends. Well, these are somewhat similar to the Phase 1. And finally, now that they've been revealed in Rogue One, we can see Thrawn with a company of Death Troopers. And I think they're investigating the caves of Atollon, but it really could be anywhere. I think we can expect to see at least one major attack on the Atollon base. We can see its distinct landscape under fire, and there is a large Imperial fleet that includes interdictor cruisers. This shot to me looks like Ezra is destroying one of the interdictor's gravity wells from the outside, maybe so the rebels can make the escape to lightspeed. I think the rebels will be forced to flee and join with the larger group, so maybe we'll even be seeing Dantooine soon. One shot looks like the Ghost and Y-Wings flying through a fiery environment. This could be Base Delta Zero, which has been mentioned twice in the show now. In Legends, that was a military code that meant the complete surface destruction of a planet and elimination of all life. And gosh, if what we see doesn't look very similar to this Legends image, even down to the TIE Defenders. If Thrawn pulls this off, a major defeat of a rebel base along with the destruction of a number of ships, I will forgive his voluntary ineffectiveness in the first half of this season. Outside of the main Rebel and Imperial factions, we're gonna see more from the Mandalorians. Now that Sabine has the Darksaber, she begins training with it so she can use it as a symbol to rally her people. Finn Rao believes that if Sabine had her mother's support, that all of Mandalore could follow. And I still think her mother is Rook cast. A lot of this looks like it's on a snowy planet. Sabine says welcome home, so it could just be a snowy part of Mandalore, but it also reminds me of Karlak from the Clone Wars. There will be a power struggle with Gar Saxon, but I think Sabine will be successful because we can see Mandalorian gauntlet fighters shooting down TIE fighters at one point. There's an interdictor in the background of that shot, so maybe the Mandalorians lend their support on that attack against the rebel base. There's another shot of Ezra on what I think is an interdictor that shows a possible Mandalorian helping him out. But the question becomes, what will happen to the Mandalorians since we don't see them as part of the rebellion down the line? They might not last long. Real quick, let's talk about Geonosis because we know that episode is coming up this weekend. We've known for a couple weeks now that Saw Gerrera would be making his reappearance, and we'll probably get a look into his extremist ways. The Rogue One visual guide mentions Saw needs help breathing because he ingested Geonosian insecticide, so we might see him come into contact with the poison here. And we'll probably see some evidence of the Death Star, but not much before the Empire attacks with some jetpack-equipped stormtroopers. We also know we'll be returning to Lothal. There's an Imperial blockade there, probably to keep the TIE Defender facility safe. Kanan and Rex look like they're about to sneak through wearing stormtrooper armor. And there's a quick shot of Wedge back in his TIE Fighter outfit, so maybe he goes undercover as well. Kallus is also on the planet investigating Ezra's old home for some reason. The Empire is of course on the quote-unquote hunt for Fulcrum, but I still think Thrawn knows it's Kallus. Someone else that might be making a return is Agent Kallus's boss, Wolf Yularen from the Clone Wars and A New Hope. He's got the mustache, the white uniform, and the matching rank, and it's known Kallus reports directly to Yularen, so I think his appearance is very likely. It would be interesting for Rex to meet with his old ally while in disguise. The last few shots are, of course, what the Maul storyline and the trailer itself has been building towards, the reintroduction of Obi-Wan Kenobi on Tatooine. It's actually not really a reveal since we knew Maul was on the hunt, but it's still so awesome to see him on screen again. I guess Maul really is there to fight it out. I would be surprised if we didn't get some sort of mention or cameo from Luke as well, but hopefully nothing too major. What's exciting about this trailer is that a good bit of it comes from the first 3 episodes. The Geonosis episode is this Saturday, the one I think will be introducing that possible Phase 1 Dark Trooper will be the Saturday after that, and Sabine training with the Darksaber is the one after that. So there's still plenty to be revealed by the season itself. One last quick note. @PaulRMQ on Twitter pointed out that the art behind Thrawn in this shot is actual art by Ralph McQuarrie, and that's just super cool. That's about all I caught in the trailer. Did you see anything I missed? Let me know in the comments, and take your own guesses about what's going to happen this season. Before I wrap up, today is the last day to enter my giveaway for a year-long subscription to Smuggler's Bounty. I'm giving away 1 subscription to my patrons and 1 to anyone who enters below, so click on the link in the description to enter, or become a patron, or both. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.